Hey everybody, it's me Liz. We are here at Castillo de San Marcos here in St. Augustine. And as many of you may already know about this fort who have visited, my family has actually been here many times because we live here. And I've got my mom, Peggy Gravitz, formerly Peggy Davis here, part of our fourth generation of St. Augustinians.
Good morning. Hi, my name's Peggy, as you know, and this is my hometown. This is where I was born and where I grew up.
So stick around, we have a lot to show you today. So while we're here at the fort, I want to ask my mom, who is a local, who has lived here her whole life since 1950 something. I'll let her tell you, but I want her to tell you some fun stories about the fort that she remembers from growing up.
Growing up in St. Augustine, especially growing up just in Florida, you're going to learn in fourth grade, I think you have an entire section where you have to study Florida history. So in addition to Florida history, you study the history of St. Augustine and what makes it so special. And part of that, as you grew up in high school, and you, especially if you're in Miss Miller Spanish class for 3 years, you had to write a speech in Spanish about Le Castillo. And we actually had to deliver that speech to the class as well as downtown at the Historical Society.
What's a fun fact that you learned about the fort when you wrote that speech?
It was occupied, and when it was built, and occupied by several different countries, but then it came back to Spain before it was given to the United States. Sometimes, of course, I'm a bit older, so the history is rusty, so I have to go back and look it up. But I actually remember that opening statement of that speech because I practiced it so many times. Growing up, it was like, doesn't everybody have a fort?
What's your earliest memory of the fort?
I remember coming here, I don't necessarily, it was with a school group, but came here, and I remember inside the fort, there was a hidden room that was uncovered.
That's the ammo room.
Yeah, but
it's still there.
But I remember that being a little scary.
That's the gunpowder room. That's where they hid all the gunpowder.
I remember having to duck to go in there and see this really enclosed space.
Yeah, you can still see it today. One
of the most important things is standing here at the fort on the 4th of July and getting to come to town and sitting here and watching the fireworks go off. Yeah. That was always one of my most special memories.
Me too, actually. I have 4th of July memories. She brought me here for 4th of July. And we walked through some ant piles and I got bit like 1,000 times. This is the oldest masonry fort in the United States. Talk about, what does that mean, Mom, to be a masonry fort?
So on the island, if you study a little bit and look it up about coquina is basically compressed limestones from the shells, right? It's compressed and it's quarried. There's a big quarry on the island. So they actually quarried it on the island and brought it across the bay to build the fort. And what's also special about coquina, it doesn't break or crack when cannonballs hit it. And so that you can go walk around the fort, and in many cases they never repaired those cannonballs. You can see where cannonballs tried to hit the fort, but nothing happened.
Let's talk about real estate here at the fort. There's actually homes for sale, you wouldn't believe it, like within walking distance of here. So Mom, talk about some of the neighborhoods that you could live in and be able to walk to the fort.
When you go outside the downtown core historic area, there's all kinds of neighborhoods. Growing up here and going to Orange Street Elementary, I had friends that lived in different communities around the vicinity of downtown in different really nice neighborhoods. Some of the homes, of course, are older that have been there for a long time and have been updated and renovated, and they're just beautiful historic homes. And you have some that go down on the bayfront, and those are gorgeous homes. I always wanted to live down there. Didn't get to. And then as you go down toward the visitor center on the other side, there's several parallel streets of beautiful Victorian homes. And then down here on Water Street, which is on the bayfront, there's some gorgeous homes down there, and then all these side streets. Also, talking about residential areas, my parents' first home was at my grandmother's house on Grant Street, which is right there off of San Marcos.
Nowadays, if you're in North City, a lot of those are vacation homes like VRBO and Airbnb. I just stayed there for a wedding this past weekend. So if you're looking to buy real estate in that area, I highly recommend you go stay at an Airbnb or VRBO. And then one other neighborhood we didn't talk about is right on the other side of the bridge is Davis Shores.
So if you look right across here, across the bridge and along the waterfront, is Davis Shores. And back when St. Augustine, even in the 40s and 50s, and I'd have to look up my history, that was just one big sandy island with no residents. And actually a man named, the last name Davis, is not related, but coincidental, his name was Davis.
Got a lot of Davises in this town.
Came and developed that area. And the way you got across, there was no bridge. I think originally it was a ferry, and then they had a very, like a railroad type bridge with a carriage that horse drove you across the water. But anyway, there's a pretty good history of how Davis Shores got started by a developer.
Lots of homes always going up for sale in Davis Shores. If you buy a home in Davis Shores, always get the flood insurance. That's all I'm going to say about that.